Well, good evening. Welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online. We're here for another match in the VP4 2021 8-Ball World Championships, a one-loss side match between Albinario and Spectredawn, which is due to start in about 6 or 7 minutes' time. What I want to do is I want to have a quick look at the stats for the tournament, and the interesting thing is that if you look at Spectredawn, who's in this match tonight, he has the most runouts from the break, tied with Semi-Pro on 12. The other one I wanted to look at was, let me have a look, not that one, the racks ran in total, and these aren't obviously racks ran from the break, but these are racks ran when they've come to the table, and Spectredawn is at the top of that as well, on 19, tied with Semi-Pro. So consistency is there, and finding a way out is definitely there from these two. Of course, both still in the tournament. Stubb is in third on 12 racks ran, and on 8 balls shot we've got Semi-Pro in 34 shot and 33 have gone in. Spectredawn 52 and 44 have gone in. Albinario is 38 with 37 having gone in. So there's some good consistency there, and well, Spectredawn really looks that he's up for it. He's again happened to do it through the one loss side, so it's going to be difficult, and something's got to give tonight between these two guys. I have got the football on stream on my second monitor, so if there's any problem with the broadcast, let me know, and if it is interfering with it, then I'll have to kill the stream, but it seems to be okay at the moment. I don't know whether there's anybody there, but I'm not getting anything from anybody. One other thing to look at as well is that this isn't the only match tonight. If we go to the main tourney page, we'll see that we've got Albinario Spectredawn starting at 1/2 the hour, and then for some strange reason Larry and Wanwa have decided their match should go at 8:50, so 20 minutes after this one starts, their one loss side match will go ahead as well. The big match tomorrow night on the winner's side is between Cheeky Chico and Stubb, and that's at 7:30 tomorrow night. I'll be there for that one. And another one loss side match is set for Sunday, which is at 6 PM, and I'll be there for that as well, all things going according to plan. So we'll keep an eye on what's happening in the Larry match, but we're focusing on the Albinario Spectredawn match, and that could go any way. Not a clue how it's going to go. It's only a race to 8, which is a tough short run relatively for these guys, especially when they're getting to a table where the balls are on. They're generally going to find a way out, so we're looking for some good quality 8 ball, and let's hope it's worth staying up late for me, because I mean it's not quite my bedtime yet, but it's not getting far off it. Back at work tomorrow. Meanwhile, Celtic still up 1-0. About 3 or 4 minutes to go. Spectredawn is here. Albinario is going to do the usual thing. He's just going to turn up on spec, do his warming up in the match. Good evening to Mark. You're the only one here. And the yawning started already. Well, you definitely are committed if you can stay up past your bedtime, because you're usually gone by 9 o'clock. Celtic are dominating the possession. Hearts are trying to close them down as soon as they get on the ball. Good move here by Celtic, but the ball's going out of play. That final pass. Good evening to Spectre, Napnicker. Thoughts on Murphy's amateur comments? Well, I mean, he's got a point from the point of view that it is his living, and it's every other player's, any other professional player's living. The idea of putting amateur players into the event is more a sort of publicity stunt more than anything else. Regardless of whether the guy beat Murphy or not, it's the fact that it deprives players of a bankroll to pay for their expenses when they're there. So from that point of view, if the guy, put it another way, if this guy had got any intentions, he would, as Murphy said as well, and not just Murphy, Selby as well, he should be at Q school and qualify as a professional. So he hasn't done that, or he's failed maybe on more than one occasion. So this is just a handout, a freebie to let amateurs into the event. So I tend to agree with Murphy from that point of view, and it's a professional event. Why are you letting amateurs in it? You know, next thing you'll have amateurs getting a freebie getting into the World Championships. So we are almost there, and I still don't see Albinario. Yes, I do. There he is. And room is about to go up. Good evening to WizKid. Anybody else I've missed? Cobra. Wit is there as well. Calling it. Well, you know what happened the other night when everybody called it for Cobra the other night? I'm saying nothing else. The room is up. In we go. Both players about to lag. And I think that's Albinario at the bottom of the screen. Because presuming that Spectredawn at the top, his queue hasn't loaded yet. And if I've guessed right, Albinario's won the lag. Yes, I got it right that time. So here we go. Race to 8 only. Well, ball in the break, first objective. I suppose the other objective's keeping the cue ball in the table. And then having a shot. But there's immediate problems here. We've got the 6, which will go up table. Well, when I say problems, I mean if you get on them, they go. But they are awkward. The 15 goes as well. The stripe and the side rail by the 8 ball. So I mean, these balls all go. You've just got to, it's the usual thing, you've just got to be good at picking your way through them. And Albinario likes the stripes. Now that 9 ball goes between the 3 and the 6. 10 balls. 10 balls are one that's he's probably going to have to take after the 13 and then deal with the 11. And he'll have to think about how he deals with this 9 as well. So the pattern here is critical. And also the angle he has in the 9, as and when he takes it, he might just stun the 9 up the table and take the 15 and get that out of the way. So yeah, there's a bit of thinking needed here. I'll have a quick drink. So he's tried to get in behind the 9 and he hasn't really quite got there to be ideal. And obviously it still goes, but now it's a blind pocket cut, so he's got to get this nailed. And the other problem, unless he tries to tweak something with this cue ball, he looks very likely to be running into the 8 ball. He might try and draw into the 15, and he doesn't want to draw into that too hard because he could knock it safe. So he's got to be really careful here. You see that again, that's a shot of a player who knows exactly what he's doing and knows how to rescue the situation, because it was obvious he was going to hit the 8 and drawn into the 15. He had to rely on a wee bit of luck that he was still going to be on it, but again, the right shot at the right time. And you know, if only a lot of other players would visualise what they're doing, because if you visualise a shot, it's another way of judging a situation and what you should be doing. And Albinario realised he was going to be hitting that 8 ball, didn't want to do it, and it wasn't a gimme, that cut in the 9, but everything he did with it was perfect. So now he's on the 10, and well, it's going to be apparent that he's going to have to deal with this 13 as his last ball, and if he gets the right angle, he can just drop on the short side of the 8, in between the 8 and 5, unless he fancies running up the table. So he's got to be again good on this 13 that'll allow him to do either or. Ideally he would want to leave a decent angle like that on this 13 so he can get across. Well, he's going inside, he needs to stay inside. I think he's ended up dead straight at a slight angle. Yeah, this is he's going to have to maybe take a risk here and come up into the right side of the table and just hope he gets as far right as he can and get past that 3 ball to see the 8. So this is where it could go wrong, and he's played it again. Perfect. Now that is a good, strong statement by Albinario. I mean, that was a very good, solid run out. And on his break, of course, so Spectredawn now wants this quick response. Well, almost scratched one side and he's gone the opposite side, so Spectredawn has failed immediately on his break and handed a great opportunity already. Look where the 8 ball is as well, right over the side pocket. And well, the 2 solids, the 6 and 7, are a problem, so he might want to steer clear of them. If you look at the stripes, there's one issue which he's going to deal with now, which is the 10 ball. It's slightly awkward, but apart from that, it's just another practice visit here at picking your way around the table. And then this short run to 8, I mean, that scratch could be really costly. And I don't think it really matters much what you take as the last ball, considering where the 8 ball is. So, you know, this is not going to be a problem as long as he doesn't do anything daft. He's pretty much got to be out. So the 11, then the 9, and then whatever that is in the bottom rail. Is it the 13 again? Oh, well, he can just kill it stone dead. Well, that's 2 racks ran for Albinario. So he's helping his statistics. And that's another one to the tally in Spectredawn's fouls in the break. So 2-0. Albinario looking at going for the second ball. The 11 ball at the top of the pack there, I think. Yep. And a ball on the break. Cue balls awkward. And this is another tricky little run out here, because he's got 3 balls, 3 solids on the left, well 4 if you include the 5 ball. The stripes, they all go. But he's looking at this this one, and I suppose if he gets good, he could have a 2-in-1 shot here, try and get right behind the 2. And if he doesn't get good on it, he's got the 5 as a bailout. That might be what he tried there. Maybe not, he's not even looking at the 2. Well, he's having a look at it now. I thought maybe he'd have been trying to take that 2 out, because obviously it's just hindering the 8 ball slightly. I think he might be tempted into getting rid of this 2 now that he's pretty much on it. He's double checking. Let's have a look from his end. Well, there's plenty of room past the 6. Oh, he's tried to drag it and kill it. Oh, he's chickened out. Well, that's the first big mistake from Albinario. And it hasn't covered the pocket. And what's more, Spectredawn has got to see this one through immediately. Given an unexpected chance there from Albinario. Of course, now Spectredawn has a problem ball. I think if we look at that 14, it's a slight problem. And now he's got himself way too close to the rail. And now he's into it too much. So now he's well out of shape because he can't see the 9. He's got a tough 10 ball up table, I think that is. And the pressure's on, because he doesn't want to be thrown away unexpected opportunities like this. I mean, this 14 ball I mean, that's not something you want to be trying to cut in the side. Well, he keeps going back to this 10 ball, but that's what the pressure does. The chance was there, and now it's gone, and it hurts even more that Albinario could well clear this table. But once again, it's not going to be easy. So he doesn't want to mess over that left hand side right now, I don't think. He doesn't want to be running into balls. Well, he's took a risk there. He's probably going to take another one off this 6 ball. He's trying to run into the 10 more than anything else on that left side rail, or whatever it is, the 14. I think it's the 14. No, it's a 10. I think he's trying to run into that rather than hit the 4 and hold for the 4, or at worst the 3 ball into the right side. It's not a bad move. Oh dear, now has he left a combo here? I'll tell you what, it goes in off the jaw, I think, the way that's set. That 4 ball and 3 ball. There's a little gap between them, but well, maybe it goes to the point. It's a bit dodgy looking. Well, he's going to have to make a big decision here. He might try and run into them off this cut, and that's all gone wrong now. He's got the breakout, but he's pushed the 4 safe. So Spectredawn might still have a little glimmer of a chance in this rack. Of course, Albinario has one last chance to improve this situation. It all hinges again on getting good on this 3 in such a way that he can nudge into the 10 or the 4. Now, has he gone far enough? Let's have a look. No, he hasn't. Well, he's going to have to go forward with lots of inside right if he's going to try and nudge into them. And it's locked onto the 4. And Spectredawn may well be coming back to the table. Good afternoon to Dwight. Good evening to anybody else I've missed. So Larry's match will start in 5 minutes, and while Albinario is thinking about what he's doing here, let me just go to the bracket, and I'll keep it on there because that'll just keep us right for the updates on the match. Well, this will be a good shot if Albinario can. Well, there is one shot he can try and play. Well, he's calling the top corner, I think, but he could try and get in a line behind the 14. Still leave an awkward cut in the 10. Well, he's tried his damnedest. But Spectredawn, I think, will take the 10 up left side and run to that right side to get to the problem ball, the 9 ball. But this is another chance that Spectredawn wasn't expecting at all. And he's going to go really awkward again. This is not easy. whatever direction he decides to go. Still got to get a grip of that cue ball to have a decent shot in the 14. Well, Spectredawn had a pressure shot on that earlier 10 ball, missed it. He's got the 14 this time though, and that is a sigh of relief for Spectredawn to get off the mark when it really should have been 3-0. And again, it's against the break, so Spectredawn, if he can try and keep the cue ball on the table this time. And he's gone for the second ball as well. So clearly they've been listening to Steve, because that's what he's been talking about in the streams, rather than hitting the top of the pyramid, going for that second ball in, left or right side. He gets a ball, and this table is there for the taking. Solids is a choice. So one ball. There must have been a couple of solids all went in the break there. Well, that's a bonus. So just drop the 2 in. He doesn't want to mess with that 10 ball. Yeah, he's just trying to hold the line there, and I think he's maybe gone just, he might want to, he could put this into the right side of the pocket and try and just go over to the point while he's leaving the cut. I think he didn't want to mess with the middle pocket itself, but he could have played that from here. It would have been a far easier shot, even though he was slightly the wrong side. And it goes. So 2 racks all. I think this is the first dry break of the night. And Spectredawn again is going to have work to do whatever he chooses. 10 ball and 2 ball aren't good. I think, let's have a look at this 4 ball. 4 ball goes as far as the solids go. 7 ball's a problem in the solids, and straight in stripe. If he can get an angle on that ball that's above the 6, well, he's not looked at that, but he could have tried to cut that into the side pocket. I don't know whether he might still think about that, but he could have, I don't know, from there and spun down to get on it. Well, he's managed to work his way across. That's not a bad outcome. He's going to be running into the 2 though, so he needs to be going forward, but with not too much spin on it. And I think he's, I don't know whether he's played for that 11, because I think he might have tried to get out for that 9 there. Never got a reminder from YouTube or Twitch this was on. I don't know, I just started the stream as normal. Unless the notifications or whatever. See, the thing is, you'll get a notification if you're on YouTube and you click the bell. because that'll give you a notification when I go live. If you're just a subscriber but you haven't clicked the little bell, you won't get notifications. That's for anybody else who's interested. Well, I think it must be YouTube playing up then. I take it the stream's okay, because I've still got the Celtic game on here. Second half started, Celtic still up 1-0. Well, this is good from Spectredawn. Again, if you were here at the beginning, we looked at the stats. Overall, in run-outs, Spectredawn is now going to be top of the tree by the end of this match, regardless of what happens. So consistency has been good. Well, there's nothing I can do in the settings that make anything any different, because I've not touched YouTube or Twitch. All I make sure I do is change the title on them. That's all I do. So, from 2-0 down, and well, really when you think about it, that big mistake by Albinario not getting the ball to the hole has let Spectredawn right back in this match. And Albinario will be keen to get the proper response here. Now, of course, he's on the solids, mainly because the stripes are a bit ugly anyway. He's got now one solid ball down the bottom half of the table. And, well, again, stating the obvious, he should be out. Now, can he see that 5? I don't think he can. So that's gone a bit pear-shaped. So now he's going to have to replot his route here, because that's what he was looking for. Get rid of the 5 and more than likely leave the 6 ball as his last ball, but he's going to have to probably bail out in the 6 ball. But then he's reasonably straight, so he's going to have to give himself more work with the cue ball. And he keeps looking at those, but he's not really got much of an alternative here. But he has to get this shot right to keep this cue ball in play. And he's managed to stun it out. You can see the 5. He might just want to drop this 5 in, but at the same time, he'll either leave that 3 into the right side or the 4 down the table here. I don't know whether he'll want to do an awful lot with the cue ball here. Well, he's got the pace right, and he should be home and dry. But again, the consistency, apart from that error by Albinario, the standard has been pretty good already in this match. And Albinario can just kill the cue ball stone dead where the 3 is. Leave a straight 8, we'll give him that. Now, I don't know whether Larry's match is going ahead or not, but let's have a quick look. Yes, it is. Well, at least the match has started. I'm not aware of whether one has arrived. and we'll soon know anyway. So, match all square again, 3 racks all. Good evening to Chico. So it's Chico time tomorrow night. The guys in the States and places like that won't have a clue of what I'm talking about, but this was a one-hit wonder guy that was on, what the hell was it? Was it Britain's Got Talent or X Factor or something stupid like that? One of those guys, you know, he has his moment in the limelight and then you never hear of him again. His name was Chico. It's Chico Time, I think, was his song, something like that. So, Albinario on his break in rack number 7. And Albi commits himself to the solids. Not the solids, the stripes. Well, the 14 ball is again just slightly awkward. The reason for that is he's running up the table and he thinks this might be the best chance he has of getting on getting rid of this 14 from where he is right now. And that was good thinking again, because when you start running up the table with a limited amount of balls left on the table, you might never get really good on that 14. And of course the other thing is where the 8 ball is. The 8 ball is awkward and there's a window to get on that 8 ball, but it's fairly narrow and he doesn't want to be leaving a bedhead cut in this 8 ball. Not if he can help it, that is. And talking of bedhead, where the hell's he tonight? Because I haven't seen him in the chat. I would have thought he'd have been here back in his Swedish buddy. Oh, this is another testy one. Ideally, if he could stun into the 7, that would do nice. But again, Albinario is chickening out in the shot. He's not. That's twice. He's not went through with the shot properly. You know, he's decelerating and dragging pace off the cue ball. Now, when you do that, you've got to get through with the shot, and that's 2 fails by Albinario with a similar shot, trying to drag the pace off the cue ball but not go through with the shot far enough. He needs more pace on it, and well, this is Albinario's generosity again kicking in. He gets a good start, was looking good for 3-0, and then he's bottled out in 2 shots that are going to cost him racks. It was a tricky shot, but he'd have been far better maybe hitting that firm and trying to stun into the 7 than trying to really be too cute. And this again is against the break as well, so big punishment for Albinario here. Well, maybe Albinario's been looking at the stats and maybe he's feeling a bit of the pressure, knowing that he has to be on the spot, because Spectredawn statistically has been very good when he's been getting those chances. And now he's got the lead again, 4 racks to 3. And I didn't hear anything go, so it's immediate that the pressure is stacked on Albi to take this out. And, well, the 3 solids are lined up there, not a problem. The 2 stripes are not really that favourable. He's having a look. 2 ball into the side, 7 ball up the table, and 5 ball up the table. He may well take the 3 cut into the side and drop up top. He's making sure he gets a good look at it. Yeah, that's the best bit of advice, Chico, because you don't want to get involved in anything and paying attention to anything, because that's what he'll do, try and get inside your head. Well, Albinario needs to relax a wee bit here, because he doesn't want to get himself in this sort of situation where he has to try and play some delicate shot again. And this 1 ball, the angle he's got, he wants to be delicate on it again, because the cue ball's squirting away down towards us, and this is why he's worried here. This is why he's considering things. You know, the angle he has is too much on this 1 ball, and he's having to just try and control the pace, and again dragging the pace off the cue ball here. Doesn't want to hook himself behind the 14. Well, all you do is roll the 6 in, and if you're going to take the 4, you want to get... Well, this is, again, he's in 2 minds here. I mean, he's looking at a dodgy cut in the 4 from where he's sitting, but I think he's got to do the... He's got to bite the bullet here. Well, this is a critical one. Oh dear, it needs to run. It needs to run. And he's done himself again. That little kiss. I just killed the pace on that cue ball. Well, the errors are mounting up here for Albinario, and they're going to cost him big time. Because I'm trying to think where Spectredawn's put a foot wrong so far in this match. Well, I presume Albi's going to have a dig at the jump. Well, now Spectredawn is looking to get that little shaft of daylight between the 2 of them. And in a race to 8, a 2 rack gap is a big gap. Well, Albinario's not enjoying this a bit, you Cobra. And it is all self-inflicted damage, it has to be said. Because he's finding ways to get himself in trouble. Two of them by the execution of the shot. The third one by running into that stripe, and it killed the pace in the cue ball. It hit it too thick, because if it skimmed off it, he'd have gone past the two of them and it'd have been okay. Spectredawn is just going to have to, I don't know whether he can just drop that 11 in. Well, he could and just fall behind the 13 and take it into this opposite side, but he's quite happy to just stun to the rail. Well, this will be painful to watch for Albinario. Well, he likes digging himself out of holes. We have seen him do it before in big tournaments, where he's been like 3 down with 4 to play, and he's won out in the end. I think he's done that a couple of times in tournaments that I've streamed. And he's going to have to really get his act together. Pressure mounts even more in Albi to get that ball and a shot. Well, he's got the ball, cue balls on the table, and these balls are spread beautiful. Not a problem anywhere in the table. Good evening to Slim, or good afternoon. Again, he's taking his time, plenty of time after the break to assess the situation and just get everything. It's the same thing as, it's just a habit that you have when you break, whether it be 9 ball or whatever it is. Always be clear in your mind where you're going. And it plays a big factor in actually getting the run out done. Obviously, execution of the shots is a big part to play, which a lot of players are lacking in getting that cue ball to a spot. But these guys, you expect them to get there. And he may run up for that 4 right now. I can't believe he's going to play for the 7 to play it down. Well, he's playing the 7 in the side. What's the angle he's got though? Oh, he's going to have to jab this in, unless he wants to leave the high cut and then the cue ball's running. Yeah, he's quite happy to leave it there, but now the cue ball's running. And he does want to come down this way, but he has to get the pace right. Oh, I forgot about the 1 ball. I'm too busy. I had a quick glance at the football there. I forgot about the 1. My apologies. Yeah, he's okay now. Well, this was a must for Albi. Under pressure. Back to within 1, but now, of course, Spectredawn in charge at the moment. Oh, that 11 ball drops in the side. Now, well, 2 balls a problem if he chose the solids. Stripes, he's not sitting great on a stripe. He's going to have to let the cue ball run a bit. He wants to take that 14 ball eventually to then get rid of this 13 down the bottom here. So he's going to cut the 12. Well, this is looking very favourable for Spectredawn, because if he leaves the 10 ball as his last ball, even though it's up table, the only thing he has to do is make sure he comes out into the table, whichever way he can, to be looking right down on that 8 ball. You still got to get half decent on this 9 though. You just, again, got to just be careful that he gets the cue ball control right. Oh, he's gone inside and he's just cutting this 9 slightly. I think the only thing he needs to worry about here is he doesn't hit this with any great deal of pace, that he's going to somehow skim off that 7 ball and run into the middle. I think that's got him thinking here. He needs to be careful with the pace. He can just roll this in, but he needs to be rolling through far enough that even if he hits the 7, he's not going to hit the right side and finish behind it and block himself on the 10. But it's just a bit tricky with the angle that he has, that he could easily brush that 7 and skim into the side. Yeah, he's hit the right side of it, or left side of it, so that'll do. And now, with a little dicey cut in the 10, he might want to come across to the other rail, yeah, and back out. Not quite there, but should be getting this. But again, it's an excellent response from Spectredawn. He's not made a mistake that I can count tonight. And so far in his matches, even though he's in the 1-loss side along with Albinario, I mean, his level of consistency is improving as this tournament goes on. And Albinario back to trailing by 2, but Spectredawn is only 2 away from surviving another round. And Albinario on his break has come up dry, but this time Spectredawn's not going to have it quite so simple. There's work to do. Well, a lot of work to do. And he might well be enticed into taking this 11 ball if it goes past the 2. Let's have a quick look. Don't think there should be a problem. Then again, well, that is very tight. I think that's maybe what's putting him off. Yeah, he's going another direction. What ball did he pot there? Because he was too busy looking at that. He's on the stripes. Tried to get a break out there, and he's not got a good angle in the 13 to get the break out, and now he's taking his eye off the ball. Now again, he just seemed a wee bit in a hurry with that one. So that's the first mistake that I can count for Spectredawn, but Albinario's not got it easy, because he's exactly the same problem with his 4 ball locked up in amongst those stripes. 7 ball behind the 8 ball, so it's not exactly favourable right now for Albi. And he could be trying to, I mean, this is all out. This 2 ball, he could try and cut into the side and mix it in amongst those balls in the corner with the cue ball, but that is a big risk. But again, he's tried the safety, and I don't think Spectredawn is going to refuse this 14, because the enticement's there to not only take the pot on, but do some damage to this corner here where he can try and improve it. He's gone all out for it. And luckily for Spectredawn, he's still left the 4-ball awkward. Now, does that 4 squeeze up the table? Maybe I'm a bit ambitious looking at that. No, it doesn't. Albinario has no shot. And he'll try and come back across. I thought that was a 9, it's the 1. Pay attention, this is the thing with having the football on at the same time. I'm too busy glancing at it. In fact, what is the score? It's still 1-0 to Celtic, 74 minutes gone. Spectredawn has been pretty much locked up here. I don't think he can see anything. That's a good safety. Not Spectredawn, Albinario. I'm really distracted with this football, when I should have switched it off. But how is he going to deal with this 4-ball? That's the question. He's not got anything that is good to get him there. The only chance he'll have is on the 2, which is going to be forced into taking, and he's 2 straight in the 2. Yeah, he's running out of options here, Albi. And I think this is one of these times when you're at the table and you just cannot get to that problem ball, and you're potting balls, and you know that unless you can lock your opponent up, you're going to be sort of swimming against the tide to try and prevent him winning this rack. I mean, the odds are well stacked against Albinario at the moment, which is not good when you're trailing by 2. So now he's got to try, and the position he's on, the 6-ball, isn't good, because he's hopefully trying to hide that 14-ball from Spectredawn. And this is the only reason why he's having a cut at the 7, to try and play a better safety behind the 6. Well, that could have finished worse. I think the 9 goes. Spectredawn can drop in between the 8 and the 4, which would be a delicate little one, or he can pot that 12-ball and do a little stun onto the 4. Maybe he thinks he's got too much angle. Oh yeah, 12-ball it is. And I think he's just gone far enough. Well, late to the party again, Bedhead. It might not be lasting long, this match. Well, Spectredawn's had 1 error in this match, but Albinario's had a fair handful. So Spectredawn's going to be breaking for the match. Well, I think they've been doing this all night. They've been breaking in the second ball, but that's another dry one. And of course now Albinario at the point of no return. He's now, well, he's in a situation he likes. He's trailing by 3 with 4 to play. So he couldn't have it much tougher than this. Commits himself to the stripes. 8 ball goes, not a problem there. But he's got to deal with that 11 ball immediately, or whatever ball it is. That one is the one he wants rid of. Because again, opportunities to get good on that 11 ball are not going to be many. So if he takes the 9 and maybe the 14 in the side, he still wants to be getting rid of that. And the 10 ball as well. So there's a dilemma here for Albi. And now he's got a choice. Take the 11, take the 14. Get into the dodgy little gap for the 10. Or the simpler way of doing it is just leave the 10 up the table. I was in Shooter's Pool the other day there, just having a look around, and Geiger, who used to play VP4, he sent me a message while I was on, and he said, "Oh, a long time no see." I said, I typed back to him. I think he said, "What do you think of Cowboy?" or whatever, and I typed back. I said, "Well, it'll be just as long time no see." I says, the only way I'll ever be back in Shooter's Pool is if VP4 shuts down. Because it'll be the only alternative, really. And I said, you know why I'm not there in the first place. So Albinario, what ball's that's up the table? We've got 13 and the 12 still to be dealt with. Now, anything but straight, because it just means you have to do more with the cue ball. Now that's fairly straight. Getting the spin working. And now it's out of Albinario's hands in a second or two. Well, tell a lie, it's not. It's going to be Albinario's break. Well, I told him right at the start, I said, I don't like the way this, you know, the aim restriction thing is in Shooter's Pool, and I don't like the fact that if you go into somebody's room, the settings are to their preference in terms of aim restriction. I think that's bullshit. And if the answer to that is, well, you don't have to go in their room, you know, that's not the point. So, Albinario, the worst thing has happened. Well, the only worst thing than that would be a scratch. But he's come up dry. No, they were doing like a 30% discount or something there the other day, because I've had plenty of emails through from them. That's one thing that Shooter's Pool do. They do mail shot you. VP4 never does that. Maybe Steve had the intention of doing that at the start, but I don't think he's got the time or can be bothered. But at least if you mail shot your clients and your public, then at least you let people know things are on. There's a, what is it, the snooker thing that's starting on Shooter's Pool. And that discount thing they were doing, so I would mail shots through for all of those things. Well, Spectredawn has got a fair job to pick his way through here on the solids, but the only problem is that 7 ball. He'd be taking a big risk to run the 7 and go up the table, or can he draw off it? Oh, Hearts nearly equalised. Or are they looking for a penalty? Let's have a look. I don't know whether he's trying to draw off this, but that's asking a lot. And again, the cut in the 6 ball means the cue ball's running into those stripes unless he takes evasive action. And he has done. And now, well, I don't know whether he was maybe trying to go far enough to leave a cut in the 5, or whether he was genuinely playing for the 7, but he can stun into the gap. He might need to draw into this a wee bit just to get the ball in the hole and just draw off it. He's played it well, and now he's got to get into this gap. Or is he trying to go on the short side? Well, that's excellent. That's a cracking shot to get there. Well, Spectredawn, a well-deserved winner tonight in that match. He made one error the whole match that I could count, and Albinario made too many, and that's why he lost at the end of the day. The consistency of Spectredawn, the stats don't lie, and he's not done anything in that match to harm his statistics. Well done to Spectredawn, but he's got to keep that up for the rest of the tournament. So now let's have a quick look at the Larry match and see how things are doing. And one was 3 racks to 2 up. I think there's probably a fair wee bit more strategy going on in this match, because well, this match has been going on for 40 minutes and they're only in the 6th rack, so I would imagine it's been quite tactical. Is that WizKid gone? So one more on the stripes. And Larry has control of the bottom left-hand corner pocket. No. Well, that ball went into the pocket that he was playing it in, but it went right in off that 14. And of course, unless he can get a good line on that 11 to push it through, I don't think there is a good line on it though. No. there's no way it would follow the 1 in, so the odds are well favouring Larry at the moment in this rack to square the match. Now he could try, I don't know whether he can, let's have a look. No, he couldn't, he wouldn't be able to hide the 5 ball. Down to the last minute, plus injury time in a Celtic Hearts game, still 1-0. And now one was running out of options here. I mean, I think he's got to call the bank on that 11 ball. It's an odds-on bank. If he gets this and still has a shot, then he could be good to open up a gap here. Well, now he's got to just cut that 12 into the side, and don't put an awful lot of fancy English on this cue ball. He doesn't need it, but he has to be making sure he can get that cue ball out and around for this 8 ball, because it's extremely tight into the side unless he can drop himself right in behind it. Well, he's got to bounce, and he's got the inside on it, but like I say, he didn't want to be sitting bolt straight on this, but he may well just draw straight back and leave the 8 ball into the same pocket. I don't think there should be any problem doing that, unless he thinks he just wants to drop it into the side. It looks as if he's lining up just to try and keep the cue ball out a wee bit. No, he's maybe playing the draw. Oh, well, that was the simplest option. So Larry was looking good there until we got onto that 11. The only real way he was going to get it was the bank, and he got it. So he's worked hard, and he's now going to have himself a 2-rack lead. How much injury time have they got? 5 minutes injury time, and we're 2.5 minutes into it. And now, of course, it's one was break as well, and he's had a ball in the break. Oh, these balls, they are not bad. If you're going for the solids, the problem ball will be the 5 on that right side. There's plenty of room past the 12 if you want to make that a problem, but he needs to get rid of the 3 ball first to let the 6 ball go in if he's going to take the solids. And once again, if you're going to take the stripes, I think they're the ball to go for, because everything's on. What's the score in the other match with Barry Hawkins? That was the one I was watching before I came online. I can't even remember who he was playing. Who the hell was he playing? Well, one was plump for the solids. So now, let's see how he deals with this 5 ball. Well, you'll get the 4 and the 7 up table, and that should be easy enough to get on the 5. But he's going to have to play this 6 ball up table and get the cue ball running a bit here. Well, he wanted to me, he wanted to run a wee bit more than that. But the 2 ball into the side would be fine for the 8 ball anyway, but he needs to get out and he needs to miss the 11 ball. But you see the pace, way too heavy. Touch like a sledgehammer there. And now he's got no option but to play the cut in this 5 ball. No point in looking at any other options. That's his shot that he's got, and it does go. He's overcut it. Oh, well, the best outcome there is where the ball's finished because it's blocked Larry's 12, and Larry immediately is going to deal with it. So problem solved. Just give me 2 seconds, guys. Right, that's the football finished. So I've just killed the stream. So one was controlling the cue ball. Pace there is what let him down. And got himself out of shape. Left himself a tough 5 ball. It went safe, but Larry was sitting in a perfect angle to break his problem ball out. But again, Larry cannot afford errors here. He's got to see it through. It's cutthroat, this race to 8, so it is on the 1 loss side. It really is, and an alternate break as well. You know, every error or miss that you make is amplified even more in this short race. And that Larry's angle in the 10, the cue ball wants to run away. I don't think he wants to stun into the 2 and leave the cut in the 12 ball, because then the cue ball's having to do more travelling. Well, maybe he didn't have any option, but Larry's got himself in trouble. Well, this will be a sore one for Larry if he can't get this done. Well, and it goes. Took his time, got himself set. And it will be Larry's break as well. Now, a reminder to anybody who's still with us, we've got the big match tomorrow night. Our first chance, well, my first chance, our second chance really, to see Stubb. But this is expected to be the first test for Stubb tomorrow night from Chico. And give him a sterner test than what he's had so far. And Larry's break, I don't know whether Larry's breaking the second ball as well. I never quite looked here. But it worked as far as getting a ball goes. Now, what about the stripes? $11 ball. Larry might try drawing off this 12 to play the 11 in the side and take care of it. Oh, well, maybe he was just killing it for the pink 12, but he wants to be getting somewhere on these. The 10 ball up table, obviously quite adjacent to the 8 ball as well. And Larry has hung the 11. Oh, and that's a big fail. And those sort of errors will cost you your place in this tournament now. But one was got to just pick his way through again. There's a slight issue, I think. Let's have a look at this 12. Not the 12, the 2. Plenty of room. Well, if he's taking the 3, I don't suppose it matters what he takes, but this has to be a good shot to get. Well, I thought he was going to run around here and try and get on that 6 ball. Because it's the same old. He's running out of options to get there. I mean, slamming the 7 ball in, I don't know where that's going to get him, if that's what he's going to try and do, but he's going to try and stun out to the right here as we look. You see, that's full focus on the position, got the position perfect, but forgot about potting the ball, and Larry's been reprieved. And one thing's for certain, he'll be making sure he takes his time. He wants to leave that ball over the pocket as long as he can, but he might not have much of an option here because his first ball, I think his first ball choice is very limited. I don't think he's got anything. Nope, he's having to take that. Well, is Larry going to redeem himself now? He's had a second chance in this rack. Well, again, if he leaves the 9 ball as his last ball, all he has to make sure is he's got a good angle on it to get the cue ball either straight off the left long rail over to the right rail, or around 3 rails to get good on this 8. Oh, well, Albie. Far too many errors. And what is it with this bottling out in the shot that you've done tonight? You know, you're trying to drag the pace off the cue ball, but you're not going through with the shot. And you get one of them track ball mice, by any chance. But Spectredawn, I think, made one mistake in that match, and that thereby justifies the result in the end of the day. He made one mistake, and you made a handful, and that's where all the racks went. Very easy to summarise that match. Well, what about Larry managing to find trouble I mean, he's had 2 goes at winning this rack. And this is going to be the second fail if he doesn't kick this in, this 9 ball. The only place he's going to land that's going to cause him problems. He's played it well, under pressure. Well, you not get heating on there, Albie, or do you just sit in an igloo at this time of year? You can't give that as an excuse. Yeah, you don't have to be sitting outside in the blizzard. You move into the house. He's probably out in the bloody sauna. You know what these Swedes are like for running about naked in saunas in the middle of winter, slapping himself with branches off bushes. Well, Larry does like to do things the hard way, but he's back all square. No, he only made 1 mistake. His Fargo rating would be about 960 or whatever it would be. I mean, it was that good. I don't think he missed a pot. He made 1 error, but everything else went in. How sad is that? You've no heating in. Where the hell is this computer room, Albie? You can't be sitting and it's like -10 outside and you're in a room where your bloody fingers are numb because the blood's rushing to the core of your body. You can't have that. I would have heating on all day here. It's been like, you know, it's a lot milder here. It's like 2 degrees where I am today, and I would have heating on all day, and I'm toasty warm. Yeah, out in the shed. Oh. Well, not a tactically sound manoeuvre, I have to say, playing when your hands are cold. If anything, that's just another distraction, so it is. So, into rack number 9, 1 were broke. Ball in the break. Commits to the solids. Dead straight in the 4. What's the name of that Iranian guy? What's his name? The guy that was on today. He hits the ball. He's a bit like John Parrott. Yeah, Hossein Vafai. He's a bit like John Parrott. He likes to slam balls into the pocket. I think he needs a bit more refinement to his game. I think he was hitting quite a lot of balls far too hard. Meanwhile, Wanwa trying to pick his way through here. Needs a little touch shot here to get good, and that's well done. Now, does the 8 go? Well, see, this is the big problem. He has to really focus on how good he is on this 2 ball. This is imperative that he gets really good in the 2 and doesn't overcook this, because that 8 ball needs to be looked at right down the line. And that's fine. Well, maybe not, now that I look at the angle. But he just needs to feather this in and no more. He doesn't want this cue ball to leak too far. He's just got to drop it to the hole and very little else. Well, this is what you have to do in your break. You have to find your way out and stack the pressure back onto Larry. And what a shot. See, that was the thing about getting really good on that 8 ball, because there wasn't much room. And if you're just offline, you do things like that. And now Larry should be able to have 1-1 knots here and just bide his time to pick his time to get the run out done. But I think this 15 ball, well, it obviously cuts, but you can't pot that 15 without disturbing the 11, I don't think, unless you were here, in which case you would cut it in and a bit of left English and just come back across for the 11. But that's very likely what Larry can do, because the 9 ball's a good ball to get there, but he doesn't want to go close to the rail. But he's got to be thinking about that. And meanwhile, Wanwood has called the 8 ball, but that's only for the sake of calling it. He's just trying to make things more awkward for Larry. But now, with ball in hand, again, Larry's not committing himself. He's leaving those 2 balls. And I think the chances are he's going to end up taking the 9 and maybe playing the shot I was talking about. I don't think he wants to be cutting that 15 like this. He doesn't want to be doing that. He wants to be doing that. Run it in there. Run the cue ball there. And maybe check it back across that way. Something like that. Or something similar to it. But he can deal with all of that once he's dealt with these 3 down here. He's just gone a bit short. Now, I don't think. I think he can just run through. Well, I think he's okay. But maybe not. He needs to make sure he can get this clean and avoid that 11. He's digging way down in the cue ball. So a wee feather of inside, nothing much. Maybe not, maybe just draw back off it for safety's sake. Yeah. Well, he's got there. It ended up being more or less how it should have been to get out. And that's now against the break for Larry. And Larry with the ball in the break. I'm going to be back in a couple of minutes, guys. I've got pains in my stomach. Right and back. So where have we got to? Larry on his break in rack number 10. On the solids. And well, could take the 6 now. Has to make sure he comes back out and avoids the 12. Should be fine, he can draw off it, but this has got to be an accurate shot. He's played it well. So Larry's taking full advantage now with a 1 rack lead and a gilt edge opportunity to stretch that to 2. So a reminder before this is all over, we've got the match with Chico and Stubb tomorrow night at 7:30. I'll be there for that. So now one we're having to dish up now on his break, trailing by 2. I think it's dry. Where's that 15 going? It has gone in. Again, still an open table after the break, no matter what goes in. But you can see there's problems with these balls up the top end. You've got the 10 ball and the 9 ball as the stripes up there. 10 ball's obviously the really awkward one. And then of course there's the solids are all gathered there. Now they're just awkward to get to as well. So this might take a little while to resolve itself, this rack. And that's a big fail. Letting the cue ball run again from the cut, the scratch. And Larry, well, he's going to have to decide what way he wants to go. Still an open table. So ball in hand. He's decided the stripes are the way to go. And, well, provided he stuns into the 4 and gets rid of the 9. Well, he's looking at the other way around here. Seems simple enough to me to hold the cue ball. Well, he's deciding, and he's not even risking that. Didn't want to risk stunning in onto the 4, maybe in case he ended up getting it wrong and ended up behind the 7. So he did the right thing. But he's again just gone a bit too heavy for that 14. I do believe that's the one he would have played for there. He's overhit it. And now again he's having to travel back out into the table for the 11, but he needs the good angle to make it good to get on the 14. It seems simple to say it, but doing it's a different matter. And again, he's short by a big margin. And now the only thing he can do here is hook himself behind the 1. He's got to get good draw into this to make sure he steers well clear and doesn't have to let this cue ball again start travelling when he pots this ball into the side. Well, if he draws back a couple inches, or there. That should do. So Larry now strong favourite. Oh, but there you go. Again, the cut angle on this 10-footer has caught Larry out, and that's a big mistake. But how big is it going to be? Wanma unexpectedly back at the table, and he's got a problem to deal with. But again, he could have Larry in trouble, and he should be having him in trouble in a minute or two. But you cannot do that, Larry. But just slightly off angle on that 8 ball was all it took. The question is one we're going to hold his nerve? Well, that's gone into sort of no man's land, because he can see the 2 and he's cutting that. He'll end up in the 1, and really then his only alternative would be to pot the 5 and just get a little chip onto them, doing it that way. But he has to get far enough over in the 1 to make that possible. So drop the 1 in and leave the angle in the 5 is the order of the day here, because then you should be able to cut that 5 and run the cue ball either the other side of the 7 and 4, or get a chip on it. Either way, well, he's taking the opportunity to get over behind the 7 right now, which is the right thing to do. Well, I think he should have went through further there to take that 5. He's just having to tweak the cue ball a wee bit, or leave. Well, you don't want to be stuck to the rail. Well, the cue ball wants to go up the short side of the 8 ball here. It's all about the judgment of pace. Well, he'll take that. Well, Larry should have been on the hill, and he's let one escape. One was taking him out. It wasn't a gimme. Now Larry's got his chance on his break. Gets a ball in the corner again. And straight away again with immediate problem with the 2 and what looks to be, well, from here it looks like the 15. It is 2 of them locked up. And 8 ball very near that top right hand corner pocket. So Larry's gone for the stripes, and now he's run into that pink 4 ball, he can look for a shot that's going to take that problem away, and he could easily do it off the 12. Oh, that's now gone outward. I don't know why he didn't just run into the table and come back up into the table, because he had a, you know, he had a bailout ball here. He could have tried to get good on that 12. And now, well, he's got the 11 or the 13 up the table. But this cut is another testy one. Well, good evening to Tam. You're up late, and Larry again falling foul of this cut angle on this 10-footer, and it's taking a pattern that Larry doesn't want to be getting in the habit of doing. He's done it the last rack. He's given one with a lifeline, and one we're just looking around to make sure he's going the right path. Now, of course, Larry's lifeline is that 4 ball, and that 4 ball, of course, is blocked. It's off the rail, and one was going to have to get himself the top side of that 4 between the 4 and the 8. Well, he's trying to run into the 4. Now, this is the best opportunity he will have. He needs to take that 1 ball and spin over to the right to get onto the rail for that 4 right now. He won't have a better chance of doing it, but that's the shot he wants to be doing. He needs to get the line in the pot right, but he has to get the spin in the cue ball right and the pace. And that looks good. He needs to slow up though. Well, again, it's just running. Just a wee bit heavy. It looked good enough to start with, but it just kept going. And again, running out of options. Well, dare I say it, he could try it again, believe it or not. It's a big, big risk. I think he's trying to hide here, or is he going for the cut? Well, he would have one more go. He could pot the 6 and run the cue ball that way. The worst thing that would happen is he would still have a shot in the 7. Well, he's going all out for the cut. It's hit the knuckle. Well, I think you've got to look at all of your alternatives. There was a sort of 2-in-1 shot there off that 4 ball to run it into this right corner and run the cue ball around the angles. You're taking a risk running the cue ball, but at times in a match you have to take that risk. And that would have been a second chance at getting on that 4. And now Larry is getting another chance. And of course, Larry's chance is going to be scuppered by that pink 12, which is going nowhere there. And the other issue is the 4 ball, where it's sitting and where the 15 is, because that would have been Larry's best chance of running the cue ball in towards that pink 12. But the 4 ball takes care of that. So right now, Juan was in the driving seat, even though he's not at the table, because it's asking a lot for Larry to deal with this situation here. I think he'd be better just cutting that 15 to the pocket, maybe, you know, overcutting it slightly or pushing it into the rail slightly just to try and leave it over the pocket. Yeah, he's trying a miracle shot there, and there was far too much traffic. 2 ball the left side. Well, I suppose the only positive thing you could say about this is at least the 12 goes into the other corner pocket on the left side, but how do you get there? And he's got a chance. He's going to have to take a huge risk to try and come down this side. Well, he's going to leave a big bedhead cut. Has to make sure the cue ball doesn't run down into the 8 ball. And as long as he's anywhere in the table, anywhere except behind any of those balls that are left in the table, he should be out. Well, it's a struggle, but he got there. And now he will be on the hill. Oh dear, it's well past my bedtime, guys. So I won't be hanging around, so thanks for everybody joining so far tonight. Oh, cue ball is gone, what? The fatal mistake. How fatal will it be? Because Larry now has got, very rarely as you get in racks where there's not an issue, and we've got a proper mess in the middle of the table and in around the 8 ball. There's not a lot doing there, and Larry's looking for a pot where he can get in and disturb things, I think, fairly rapidly, because he'd do well to pick his way through that lot regardless of what set of balls he chooses. Not long to the Moscone Cup now, guys. 5 days away. Well, again, Larry's trying to do stuff there with the cue ball to get a chip into those 3 balls in the middle of the table, and he's missed the pot because of it. But all the pressure, though, is on Wanwa. The point of no return. But it's not going to be easy for either player to take care of this rack. So, one was committed to the solids, and he's only got 1 shot. What's he looking at here? Well, that's not bad, but I don't think he's covered the ball on the side. He's just tried to improve the situation a wee bit. 4 ball goes past the 8. as far as one was concerned. 6 ball will go in once the 7's out the way. It's actually not a bad result with that shot. Well, Larry's got to beef this up a bit to try and get into those balls. Now that was Matchroom's idea to get interest in the Moscone Cup when it first started. You know, bringing familiar snooker players into like Davis and Higgins and Jimmy White, and of course it did create the public interest in it, but far better to have proper pool players playing the thing. Yeah, Tony Drago as well. But snooker players can't really break 9 ball. They're not, you know, they're too disciplined in the way they break. Well, Larry's had 2 goes, and he's now done as best as he probably can, but now he's got a big test. Again, having to pick the line on this 9 ball. And a little drawback, or does he just run through for the 10? Because he might not again have a better chance of getting to a cut angle in that 10 ball. I mean, that's a very narrow margin to get into that 10. So, Wanwa's balls are sitting not bad, apart from the 5. And Larry's not gone through far enough. He's having to leave the bedhead cut, and he doesn't want to hit this 5 ball thick. If he's going to hit it, he might miss it altogether, but he has to go far enough across. Well, he's gone across twice. He's still okay, and now he has to just tweak this 12 in and spin the cue ball to the left of that 8 ball as we look for it past the 1 or the 9 ball or the 1 ball, whatever it is. Well, it'll be the 1 ball, won't it, because it's solids, to get himself out and to survive another round. So it's another tester. But this for the match. So I hope you can join us tomorrow night, guys. 7:30. Friday night 9 ball will be on, but we'll be here for the Cheeky Chico match against Stubb. I hope you can join us. Well, Larry survived, but he's going to have to do a bit more practice in the 10-footer if he's going to survive much longer, because there's some heavy artillery on that 1 lost side that he'll bump into. Let's have a quick look at the bracket. We can see Larry's now through, and he's going to have to wait until a result comes through from the winner's side. Albinario, of course, now is out, and it's Spectredawn and Hazard. Well, that's bad news for Hazard, because I don't think Spectredawn's going to be any sort of charitable mood. We've got Marcellus and Bill, and that is Sunday night, is it? At 6 PM GMT. And further down, we've got Jover against Cobra. Jover beat Mr. Stroker 8 racks to 5, so he's obviously good enough to get a result there, but that might be as far as he's going to go, because he's up against Cobra. And now, of course, on the winner's side, at the bottom of the bracket, we've got Sergeresh, who is through waiting to play the winner of the Chico Stub match. And then further up, we've got Bedhead is through. So we've also got Semi-Pro through. So they're all waiting on results coming through. Apart from Bedhead and Semi-Pro, they've just got to arrange their match. Plenty of time to do it. Right, guys, I'm heading for bed. Take care. Thanks for watching. And I'll bid you good night.